What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Wesportin podcast. And today I'm here with Dylan. Chris will be joining us
shortly.
Yeah. Today we're going to be talking about a lot. We're going to be talking about the NBA playoffs a little bit more. We're going to be talking about the newly picked MVP, Nikola Jokic, and we're going to be talking about the NFL draft and teams picked who and whatnot. And as soon as I bring up Chris is here. Chris, what's going on?
What's up?
What's up? So, as we all know, as I just said, Nikola Jokic just went and grabbed his third MVP, winning the first place voting. I'll just kind of read it off real quick. Nikola Jokic received 79 first place votes. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander received 15, and Luka received 4. Any surprises here at all whatsoever, Chris?
Yeah, I thought Luka should have won. I mean, you could say Luka didn't play as much defense as Shai and Jokic. But 33, 9, and 9, it was just a lot for me. I think the highest points per game since the before that was James Harden at 35. So he was only 2 points away at that, bro. From that, bro, and I think James Harden won the MVP that year that he had 35 points per game. And I think Luka should have won, but Jokic also had a solid year though.
Now, I know you mentioned in the group chat that you don't believe, or I don't know if I'm using your words or twisting them, but when I said that I think Shai has honestly a better case than Jokic and Luka, you didn't agree with it. Why didn't you agree with it?
I mean, Shai had a great year, but I don't think he was better than Luka Doncic this year. I mean, I think maybe you could say he's better than Jokic was this year. I think Jokic one of those guys that the NBA likes, so that's probably why Jokic got it.
So now, would you say, I mean, that Shai's, I guess, I hate to use this word, but I'm just going to use it anyway, Shai's resume this year and what he brought Oklahoma City from last year to this year, do you think that that's not impressive enough to win MVP?
I mean, this is not the comeback player of the year award, bro. This is the MVP award.
If this is no comeback player of the year award, you're 100% right. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was perfectly healthy last year, brought an Oklahoma City team from 10-1. Right.
But this isn't a thing of where one player did it. Like, let's not act like OKC didn't have other really good players this year too. It's not like we're sitting here with prime LeBron on the team, averaging 38 and 8 a game and just carrying the entire team to the playoffs. Like, the entire team played really, really good. So I think if we're I think it takes away from OKC, honestly, if we're going to sit here and say SGA should have won it because they went from 10-1, let's not act like SGA wasn't healthy last year. Like, I'm sorry, I don't think sure. I mean, are we going to give Chet MVP because he brought them from 10-1?
Are we really going to sit here? And, are we going to really sit here and act like that? What Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did, bringing a team from fucking 10.
But my point is, he didn't bring them.
Yeah, you're right. It's not like his plus minus is one of the highest in the league. Yeah, you're right. You're
so 100%. SG the only good player in that start.
You're right. His plus minus.
But it's about on-court impact.
His on-court impact is 100% dog shit. It means absolutely nothing.
Who said that? But also, if we're just gonna argue fucking on-court impact, Jokic does have a higher on-court impact than SGA. I'm sorry to break that to you,
right? Because the Nuggets are in deeper too, and they could play good without Jokic, right? Because they don't have Jamal Murray.
Well,
right?
Actually, last time we argued that, and we all know that OKC has probably a deeper roster than the Nuggets.
I would actually disagree. No, I actually would disagree. I think the Nuggets.
Well, I mean, last time we talked about it, you didn't disagree, so now you're disagreeing. But I mean, that's fine if you want to change.
No.
If you just want to change your opinion, that's cool.
No, I mean, I just don't believe that it's the. All I'm trying to say is, bro, is that if you're going to sit here and you're going to value MVP, the most valuable player, whatever, Jokic, look at it like this. Jokic can miss 10 games, and that team would probably go plus 500. In those 10 games, Jokic is gone. Yes? No?
No.
Maybe? No, really? You don't think so? Without their roster from top to, you're telling me that hold on. Are we talking about Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon and KCP and Michael Jr.?
There's nothing wrong with those players, but the amount of things that Jokic does for that team, I do think they would probably have a losing record without Jokic. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that.
Take SGA out of the Thunder, then what are they? Do they go below 500?
I think they're about 500 without SGA.
Really? So in the games,
they have a lot of really good players, and they're young. Yeah.
So for the whole entire season, the Oklahoma City Thunder with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander never lost 3 games in a row.
That wasn't the argument about Jokic.
Okay.
The argument was about 10 games. So are we going to say SGA for 10 games, or are we saying
no? I'm just giving you something, like an example. I'm not
okay.
Okay. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander missed, like, let's say 5 games. I think it was 5 games in like a couple weeks span.
Okay.
The team was dog shit. They lost their first time in 3 games in a row, whatever. They were absolutely crap. He comes back, plays against the Knicks, goes on a break, then they lose again. So you're telling me that the impact of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not greater or more valuable?
So the example you just gave was he went on a break. They had 1 really bad game, but then he went on another.
No, it was multiple really bad games. It was actually multiple really bad games, but sure.
But then again, your second point is he came back for a single game against the Knicks. Then he left and they lost, and he came back and they won. Like, they lost 1 game out of 82. Like,
no,
this isn't a big enough sample size.
They went on their first big losing streak of the whole season.
How much was the losing streak? He was gone for 5 games. So how much was the losing streak? 3 games?
Yeah, I think it was 3 games.
In an 82-game season? 3 games?
I mean, that's 2 out of 3. It's a negative record. I mean, just saying. I mean,
we're talking about
negative
10.
record.
So we're talking about 10 for Jokic, but 3 for SGA?
You can't tell me. And if we're going to sit here and look at it two-way wise, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is easily better offensively and defensively than any of the MVP candidates, without a doubt.
What?
Without a doubt.
Nah, that's not true.
That's not true.
Oh, so it's not true. So then when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander makes all NBA first team and then all NBA defense, and
I mean, so with Jokic,
you're going to look at it and say, damn, he really was robbed of the MVP.
Did Jokic just fall off a cliff?
Who fell off a cliff?
Jokic.
Jokic is a lockdown center now? Are we serious?
Jokic is a very good defender. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, all right. So now I forgot. Nikola Jokic was
so who Dylan thought should have won
year awards. My bad.
When we talked about it, who?
Jokic. Was he is he top 3 in was he even top 3 in Depoy? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh, okay. You know who was top 5 though?
Did he win it?
Shai fucking Gilgeous-Alexander.
Did he win it?
Oh, of course he didn't win it. No, because
so who gives a fuck? I'm not going to sit here and debate who was number 5 in voting. Like,
I'll do fucking Rudy Gobert.
I'm sorry, Nico. Let me just debate with you. SGA was top 5 in voting
defensively to Rudy Gobert. No, we're not going to sit here and compare Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Rudy Gobert as defenders at their position. Shai Gilgeous is easily probably the best defensive point guard in the league, without a doubt. This year he was 100%. 100%. If you're going to look at it like this, if we're going two-way, offense, defense, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander offensively and defensively, I would consider probably the best out of all the 3. I don't care. Luka Doncic is not a good defender at all whatsoever. So we're going to just take that into consideration. 2, Shai Gilgeous is going to more likely than not make All-NBA first team, All-NBA defense. And guess what? Jokic is not going to fucking do that. Jokic is only going to make All-NBA first team, along with Luka Doncic is going to make All-NBA first team. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, if he makes both All-NBA first team and All-NBA first team defense, what the fuck are you going to say? He was fucking robbed. I don't care. He was robbed. It's just bullshit. And yes, bro, Luka Doncic is 100%. You could say he's robbed too. But Jokic, I'm sorry, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is just he's the more valuable player on his team. Let's go
off of stats right now. Okay, let's just go off of stats for a second, because you can talk about he brought him 10-1, but he didn't. So if we're going off of pure stats, let's just look at the base stats right now. Okay, SGA averaged 30 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists per game. Okay, he averaged 2 steals a game as well. Luka averaged, he averaged 4 more points a game than him. He averaged 4 more rebounds a game per him. He averaged 4 more assists per game than him. And he averaged 0.5 less steals per game than him. So what are we going off of here to say SGA should have won this? Like, I don't get it. When we had our conversation a few weeks ago, because it's been a while, when we had our conversation, I said Luka should win it. I didn't think Jokic would win it, mostly based off the fact I don't think the voters would let him win it. Like, I thought there'd be so much voters fatigue. We'd be like, yeah, no, Jokic isn't going to win this. But I don't see an argument for SGA. SGA has been a great story this year. He's been really, really good this year. But if we're going off of if we're just going to say, number one, if we're going to go off the 2 biggest reasons, number one, who's the most valuable and has the biggest impact? That is not SGA.
Yes,
it's not SGA. It's Jokic. And if we're going off of numbers, it's Luka.
Stop it.
So he has Why? I just broke down the numbers to you. He averaged less than everything.
You got Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, and Kyrie Irving just doesn't bring that team to the same format that Luka can, bro. Are we serious?
He can.
Are we serious?
Get out, bro.
Kyrie Irving sucks now. Kyrie Irving is god awful.
Bro, your argument to why Shai Gilgeous-Alexander should win it is that his team is worse than Jokic's and SGA's, bro. That's all you saying.
No, his argument is, I love OKC. Please let him win, bro.
Massively inexperienced. He's elevating an inexperienced roster. Inexperienced. I think
the only argument, though.
Like, your argument isn't valid.
It's
no, that's just not how it works.
And what's your argument for Shai not even having a case for MVP?
I already went over this. So if we're going over the two, and I'll break it down to you again. If we're going over the two main reasons somebody should win MVP, number one is on-court impact, which again, out of the top three, I don't think he had number one. I think Jokic has a bigger impact on the court.
No,
and number two, hold on. Number two, if we're going off of who had the better numbers, he didn't have better numbers than Luka. So he wasn't the biggest on-court impact out of the three, and he didn't have the best numbers out of the three. So no, he shouldn't have been MVP. Like, he just shouldn't have been MVP.
I guess he should. And what makes Luka an MVP over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
He averaged better stats in every category. Like, every category.
Stats.
He averaged 34, 9.2 rebounds a game, 9.8 assists per game, and a steal and a half per game. What are we talking about? Like,
I guess.
Dude, almost averaged. He was this close to averaging a
consecutive 30-point record.
He was this close to averaging a 34-point triple-double for the season.
Exactly.
What are we talking about?
But he didn't. But he didn't. That's the thing.
And he still had better numbers.
He wasn't close, though.
All right. Just all I'm going to tell you is, Dylan, is that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was wrong.
Please go.
I give zero fucks if you think he doesn't have a fucking case. That motherfucker has more of a case than fucking Luka. I give 3 fucks if you disagree.
His numbers are worse. He just doesn't have
his numbers are worse. Yeah, his numbers.
Which I think, honestly, the fact that he had more total votes than Luka is insane as well.
Alexander's fucking impact was bigger on the Thunder than Luka. Because if guess what, if Luka would be in.
And Jokic had a bigger impact on Denver than SGA
but we all are sitting here agreeing that Jokic shouldn't have won it because of just the fact.
We're not agreeing on this.
Oh, so you really think that Jokic should have fucking won it?
No, I think Luka was 1, Jokic was 2, SGA was 3.
You're on. All right, dude. No.
I told you the big two major reasons somebody should win MVP, and SGA is in either one of them.
So Shai Gilgeous led the league. I'm pretty sure. You might need to fact check. And plus minus, which
that's the only stat you have to show SGA did.
You scored more points than Jokic too. If you're going off of stats, because you're bringing up stats.
Fan page.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did score more points and a higher percentage of shots too. So if we want to go off of that, then Shai should have been 2, Jokic should have been 3. And I mean, it's the fucking truth. Even Chris doesn't think Shai should have won it, but at least Shai's number 2 on his. I mean, Shai's number 2 on the list, right? Yeah. Yeah, we're on.
That was a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, we're on there.
Okay, well, actually, hold on. Let's talk about it real quick. So we're talking now about SGA versus Jokic, which if we're going again off of numbers, I already said that I think Jokic is a bigger on-court impact, and I think if you're debating that, you're just wrong. So off of numbers, so Jokic had a better field goal percentage. Jokic averaged
how much?
4%. No, 5%. Which, I mean, 5% field goal percentage is 5%. So anyway, Shai averaged 30 points a game, 5 rebounds a game, 6 assists a game. Jokic averaged 26 points a game, 13 rebounds a game, and 9 assists per game. So you could argue, really, other than points, Jokic was better in every category. So again, what are we arguing? I don't get it.
You're sitting here and saying defensively that Jokic is still better than Shai defensively.
They're not. You can't compare a guard defensively to.
You can't compare a guard and a center, but if you're gonna go off positional fucking rank for defensively or whatever, Jokic is not top 3 in his category of defense. Unlike Shai,
because you have the best defenders in the interior. So it's such a watered down area, right? Because you're going against guys like. Not even it's first guy I thought of, but Rudy Gobert, Jaren Jackson, stuff like that, and Bam Adebayo, really good defensive players. And then you have SGA, and he's going against guys like Marcus Smart and Drew Holiday, and I'm these are really good defensive players, but they're not all around like that. So I think it's
all around. I think that's why he should have probably won MVP because he's an all.
He has no argument for MVP.
He has no argument. Again, You know what? But here's my thing, bro. Is that you've hated on the Thunder. Like, I get where this is coming from. I get it. You don't like us. I get it. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's with the Commander. It's with the Commanders too. I mean, I don't know what it is. But anytime I talk about my sports team, it's like I get like belittled by Dylan Walker. I really don't know what it is. And you do this with the Commanders too. And I get it. I'm sorry.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about the Commanders in a few minutes.
Oh yeah, no, because I already know you're gonna
wait.
You're going to find a way to shit on the Jaden Daniels pick. It's okay. I know who you are.
But in all reality, this isn't me shitting on the Thunder or SGA. I think SGA played great this year. I'm just going off the two main categories, which is statistical categories and impact on the court. I don't think he had top in either.
What do you think?
You can, and again, hold on. You can sit there and argue all you want about impact on court, but there's simply no debating that he had the worst stats out of the three. He just did. Like he had more points than Jokic, but worse in every other category, and he was just worse in every other category than Luka. So even if you want to argue that he had a bigger impact on the court than Jokic, which I think is a weird argument, but you could argue it. He still had worse numbers,
it's a valuable argument. It's a valuable argument. What the fuck?
I don't think there's really a debate for him having a bigger on-court impact than Nikola Jokic.
Because it's a stat, and you're going off of stats. And if we're going to go off of stats,
Jokic had better stats. What stats are you talking about?
You're going on.
Are you about to bring? You want to bring up plus minus again? Is that what we're gonna do? Like, is that the goal here?
I'm just telling you that if you're going off of your stats of plus minus, then
they're not my stats, buddy. Only one person here is bringing up plus minus, bro. Like,
so nigga, like Oklahoma City Thunder fan page up with the plus.
Bro,
minus.
He saw some Instagram post after the
MVP was like Instagram post. I've seen it months ago, and it's still like I've seen it months ago. It's a plus fucking minus. It's a simple fucking core percentage of what, Chris?
Your argument is that his team's younger. He has less known players than the other teams, bro. That's just not how it works, bro. There's many other players that has had a bad team and had better numbers than had a better impact on their team.
Russell Westbrook, 2017. Without a doubt.
Yeah, all right. Look,
it's the truth. Are you gonna sit here and fucking argue that Victor Oladipo, rookie Domantas Sabonis, and how Westbrook averaged a triple double and scoring 30
did
plus?
He win it that year or he didn't?
He did win it that year. Yeah,
bro. Like Curry, what's that? It was that one year that Curry and them got knocked out of the play-in. But look,
2021.
That year he was the best player in basketball, hands down, bro. But he didn't win it though, because his team was like, just because he had like the most impact for his team, like, yeah, if he wasn't on the Warriors,
the most valuable player is when MVP standing for most valuable player.
That's just not how it works, though. I've been saying
that is how it works, though, because if you take Curry off that 2021 team, that Warriors team is fucking dick.
Exactly, I agree with you. But
who else was in that? Who else was in that? It was Jokic that year who won it,
right?
And then Embiid. Oh, you take Embiid off the fucking Sixers, and what are they with Ben Simmons? Dog shit. You take fucking Jokic.
I agree that they don't run it how they probably should, but that's just not how it works. So
yeah, I know it's not how it works, but this is how we're arguing it because that's how I think we view it, and we don't view it.
Then again, we're not working for the NBA though, so SGA should have lost.
I mean, at least you think he should have came in second place, though, right? Not fucking Dylan, who's sitting here saying, "Oh, he doesn't have an excuse," or blah blah blah. Fucking no excuse.
And again, you just haven't made a reasonable argument to debate it so far. Like it's gotten to a point. It's gotten to a point that we're going off of
ESPN stats right now, and you're just going comparison.
I've given you multiple reasons, and you haven't been able to debate any of them. So far, it's been SGA has a higher plus minus, and you don't like OKC. That's been your two reasons so far.
And the fact that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has led the second youngest team to the first seed by himself because nobody else.
But it's not by himself.
Nobody else averages 20 points per game on that.
Okay, that's fine though. That's fine because I don't want to see you in the group chat again. I don't want to see you in the group chat again. We talk about how OKC is such a good young roster and it's going to be such a good competition.
I've never praised anybody. All I've said to you,
and Chris knows exactly what I'm talking about right now too.
We're going to so funny. So Kyrie Irving and Luka. So Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic are both obviously 20-point per game scores. Plus,
Kyrie's great.
Richard Murray 20 points per game. Plus. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has nobody else averaging more than 20 fucking points. The closest is fucking Jalen Williams.
And Jalen Williams is a really good player. And Chet Holmgren's a really good player.
But he's also in his second year in the league, taking another elevation because his fucking point guard, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is fucking backpacking them. I don't give a fuck.
This is not true, though, bro.
Oh, Jalen Williams actually averages 20.6 points a game, according to Gavin Wiggins.
That's playoff.
I don't get it, bro. Y'all switch, bro. The OKC defenders, not even just their fans, like the guys that like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they flip the narrative whenever they need it to fit their agenda, bro. So one time they'll be like, "Oh, we have all these great young players. They're such ballers. We have a great young team, and our team's so deep." And as soon as y'all need to help, Shai win the MVP races, oh, they're so young.
The team sucks.
They're doing without him.
Yeah, but in every argument, I do that shit though. I tell you that this team is the second youngest team in the league, which is they are. They're doing this as being the second team in the league.
Okay, Nico, let me ask you a question, man.
They went from the fucking 10th seed in the fucking play-in tournament to number 1.
So
while your fucking Warriors were the fucking 10th seed, and the fucking Grizzlies were non-existent. That's all I know.
Bro, Nico, was J-Dub on the team last year?
Yes.
Has J-Dub not gotten way better since last year? Just like Shai has.
Go ahead.
Has Chet was Chet on the team last year, basically? No. Exactly, bro. The team's got to win.
Holmgren is now the reason why the Thunder went from 10 to 1.
Chet Holmgren's been really good this year. Like, I'm not saying that he's the reason, but when you see, but you are in a way, because when you're sitting here basically saying, well, Chet's not that great, and Jalen Williams is not that great, but Shai's the reason they went from 10 to 1. Like, that's not how the NBA works. Like, this isn't tennis. This isn't tennis. It's not one guy. Like, this is a whole team.
So,
like, I'm sorry.
There hasn't been teams in the NBA with one guy that have, just absolutely led.
There's been a few, but not many. Like, there just hasn't been many.
But there has been. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Well, name one.
Hold on. Give me like 2 seconds. I got to think about it.
Name one that didn't have a legit good player on the team with him. Please.
So just one star, and everybody else is dog shit.
But like
2018 Cavs.
Yeah, because also the Eastern Conference sucked. Like, they got wiped.
Next. Any LeBron team before Miami, too, by the way. Any LeBron team before Miami, by the way.
Again, and I that's not a bad point. But SGA is not LeBron. Like, he's just not.
He's not LeBron. 100% agreed. He's not LeBron James.
So, like, and also you have to look at how bad the Eastern Conference was. Every year when LeBron was in Cleveland, it was, they were just so bad, man. Like, anytime they got him to the finals, it was because the East sucked.
True.
Are you gonna? Can I say?
Other than Boston.
Can I say Russell Westbrook's team in 2017?
No, because you guys didn't do anything in the playoffs. No.
We're on dick. We're lying. That was 2019. Dumbass.
Hey, it's still fucking category, man.
It was 2019. Get it right. It was 2019.
Bye.
All right. So moving on. Nikola Jokic won MVP. Who gives a fuck?
You give a fuck.
Going now to the Western Conference and in the Eastern Conference semifinals. In the Western Conference, the Minnesota Timberwolves are up 2-0 currently on Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. I feel like we are all pretty surprised. But
it's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, it's great. And I'll say defensively, watching Minnesota, it's suffocating. Like, it's the defense just absolutely is killing Jamal Murray. It's killing Jokic. It's killing any form of momentum. Could Minnesota be a dark horse title contender to win the whole thing?
I don't know if it's that dark horse anymore, man. I think we're watching what's happening and we're like, oh shit. Like, that's because who wants to play against that? Like, the honest question I think I have at this point is who has the star power in the playoffs left to like really beat that? If they get past Jokic, man, like come on. Like come on.
Yeah, it's not dark horse anymore. Like, it's gotten to the point where people should have probably picked them on FanDuel to win the finals. You probably would have got a lot of money off of that one.
Like how Chris is looking at it from a gambling perspective.
Hey, honestly, you probably should have put a lot of money before the playoffs started. Like, they're not a dark horse team anymore. like Dylan said, there's not a lot of teams left that's gonna be able to compete with them. If they get past the Nuggets, which if they win tonight, they're gonna be a lock to get past the Nuggets. If they get past the Nuggets, the only team that probably could compete with them left is gonna be Boston, maybe.
Yeah, Boston's the only team left that I think has the actual star power on that roster to do something.
Yeah.
But other man, like,
what do you think has flipped in that switch though? I mean, they didn't really go out and add anybody in the offseason. There was the Rudy Gobert trade was 2 years ago. They really didn't add anybody. I mean, it's just really everyone elevating in their game.
Right.
You said Boston could beat them, you think?
I think Boston has the star power to be able to do something against the defense. I mean, that's about it. And you have the wings to guard Ant. I mean, that's about all you could really. I mean, technically, I think Boston would have the team you'd technically want to build to beat Minnesota because they have the offensive scorers to be able to score one-on-one opportunities, and then they have the wings and the defensive players to help guard the outside. So if there's a team made to build Minnesota, it'd probably be very close to Boston.
Right.
But Ant's on a tear right now, and that defense is playing really, really well. But I do think that Boston would be the team to beat them if somebody does.
So going into this now, obviously Jokic winning MVP. Does this tarnish or does this affect Nikola Jokic and legacy in any way by losing to this Minnesota team? I mean, obviously, yeah.
He just won MVP, so no. Like, no.
So it doesn't tarnish the fact that he's just.
I mean, he's a 3-time MVP. I don't think one playoff loss is gonna fucking kill Jokic. Like, he's already a Hall of Fame lock.
Well, the reason why I'm saying that is because the other day I saw something that kind of opened my eye a little bit.
Was it an Instagram post?
No, it was actually a TikTok.
I mean, it definitely won't tarnish his long time career because at the end of the day, bro, if they win, like we said, they're probably gonna go on to go to the finals. So if they go on to go to the finals and even win the finals, then it definitely wouldn't hurt them. It's just like their team were better.
So,
and this is also a series of like, and it's the first thing I can think of. So I'm not trying to shoot any negative things out at Golden State or OKC. I'm just thinking of two players who had inefficient playoff runs. So this isn't a series where it's like, was it 2 years ago or a year ago when the Warriors were in the playoffs and Klay Thompson was just having like a really, really bad run? It isn't like that for Jokic where he's sitting here putting up nothing and he's shooting super inefficiently, or like anytime Russell Westbrook ever touched the playoffs and it was like he's just super inefficient and can't play basketball. It's like it's not like that for Jokic.
You talk about that 1 year where the Warriors eliminated the Grizzlies?
Yeah.
Oh, that was my favorite year.
Yeah, because I remember Klay Thompson was having a bad run, but Jordan Poole had a really good run, and it kind of kept him apart.
Was that the year they all won the finals? Was that the year Golden State won the whole thing?
I think he talked about the year after.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we lost to him in 6, I think. And then Poole was doing really – that was when, like, the pool party shit started, I think. Or maybe it was the year before, but it was, like, around there. And then, yeah, Russell Westbrook, anytime he ever went to the playoffs, just super inefficient basketball. And it's not what Jokic is having, so it's not like this is good. It's not like Jokic is averaging 2 on 12 for 35 shooting. Like, it's not going to hurt him, like, at all. It's not going to hurt his legacy.
So do you think, though, that the Nuggets could be like what the Bucks are now, and they're just a one-and-done playoff team now, and the only way they can really do is improve?
They ran into a buzzsaw. I don't think it makes them a bad team.
Right, but going off of that example of the Bucks, I mean, could they end up like the Bucks if they don't start building more? Or I think
you just keep doing what you've been doing.
You think it's just a one bad year? They ran into a defensive team.
They ran into a team that's really, really hot with a player that is entering his prime. I think you could say I'd say entering his prime. And he's on a really, really good hot streak. And unfortunately, when you have a team that's playing really, really good defense across the board, and then you have an absolute star who's entering his prime and is not missing, no matter how good your team is, you're probably not beating them. Unless Jokic just went on an absolute tear, which Jokic could, but like it would still be, even if Jokic went on a tear, it'd still be really hard to beat that team.
Yeah. So going in now, obviously now afterwards, we're heading over to the other series that's happening out in the West. Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Dallas Mavericks. OKC took game 1 last night, 116-95. Do you think OKC will be meeting Minnesota in the first round in the conference finals?
I mean, maybe. I mean, we're 1 game in, so I'm not.
I know it's a hard kind of like situation.
I think it'll be easier to tell after game 2. because game 2 is when Dallas knows what you guys are going to try to do. You know what Dallas is going to do, and you see an actually even game. It's not very uncommon that we see like game 1 kind of look super lopsided in most of these playoff series. I think Dallas probably got caught off guard. Dallas is a really good team. So I don't know. I think Minnesota does beat Denver at this point. They just look like the better team.
Mhm.
But who meets Minnesota? I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah. Chris, I mean, who do you think meets Minnesota? I know you said go Pels, and then you said go Mavs. So where are you at now?
I think it's gonna be a better series than I thought, but I do still think the Mavs gonna win. Luka Doncic better than SGA. So
Yeah, but I will say though, Luka has struggled massively in these playoffs. So, and he couldn't also battling an injury too. But I mean, but do you think that OKC could potentially take down Minnesota if they do meet, or you think it's a clean sweep like Denver?
it's not.
I just don't think they have the team to be Minnesota. This isn't even a shot at OKC. I think, like I was saying with Boston, right? Boston is the team made and built to beat what I think Minnesota's doing. I think OKC is the exact opposite. I think this is the team to get demolished by Minnesota. I just think what they would do defensively would kill you guys. I mean, SGA would be good. I mean, he could obviously play defense against Ant, but like, come on, like. I think that team would bust all you guys.
Yeah, I will say. Pause. I will say
that's okay.
Said this team would.
I don't know how buzzsaw would be a sexual term, but go ahead.
Oh, I didn't hear that part. But I will say though, I mean, going overall, just in a perspective though, Oklahoma City and Minnesota on the. Now I know it's defense, the net ratings or whatever. If you want to go off of that, they're both, I believe, top 5. Oklahoma City's top 5 offensively, while Minnesota is more in the bottom, not the bottom, but the mid pack. And defensively, they're both neck and neck. So, do you think just defensively, Oklahoma City could not do into them, just like they've done other opponents throughout the season?
Yeah. I don't see it. Again, like I'm saying, I just think that Minnesota is just built to beat teams like OKC.
Okay. Now going on to the Eastern Conference, I just wanted someone just to say, "Oh, OKC might have a chance," but no,
not against Minnesota.
Now we're going next on to the Eastern Conference side as the Indiana Pacers beat the Milwaukee Bucks and are playing the New York Knicks currently. Knicks are up 1-0. Any idea you think the Knicks are going to be Eastern Conference Finals bound first time since Carmelo?
Hey, bro, I want to take this one. First off, let's start off with the fact that Nico is such a curse in the sports world that he has allowed the New York Knicks to have their first Eastern Conference final since my mom had her high school prom. Nico, you are terrible. The New York Knicks have been a badly ran franchise for years. Jalen Brunson has went on tear ever since Nico called him trash. He's probably going to drop another 40 tonight. Do they play tonight? He's probably going to drop another 40 tonight.
Let me tell you.
I like Jalen Brunson. I like that they put the Villanova, ain't it? That's where they was playing at. The Villanova front court back together. With him, Josh Hart, and Dante DiVincenzo. I like their team. I do think they're gonna make it. I think they're better than the Pacers are. I don't think the Pacers shouldn't even be. The Pacers probably would have lost to a healthy Bucks team anyway. So yeah, I'm rooting for the Knicks. I'm not gonna lie.
You are. Jalen Brunson is currently at 5 points to end the first.
Hey, bro, it's fine.
So now going on to the last game, which is Boston versus the Cavs. I'm just gonna pick Boston in 4. Move on. I think we can all agree on that. But now moving on to the NFL draft. Dylan W. James Walker. I've never seen him smile so bright, man. So going on to the NFL draft, many teams were massive winners and many teams were horrible losers. We are going to go through the draft ourselves, and we are going to be looking at draft pick on draft pick, grading it from A to F. So first overall pick to the Chicago Bears was Caleb Williams. I'd give him an A. I think the Bears got their guy finally after all these years. I know Dylan was projecting Drake May to go here, but
no, I wasn't.
I'm kidding. But Caleb Williams was the number 1 overall pick, and since the number 1 overall pick, I give it an A.
I'd give it an A. But yeah, I'd give it an A. Yeah, that's fair.
Chris?
A+.
Yeah.
A+. With the number 2 overall pick, the Washington Commanders selected Jaden Daniels, quarterback out of LSU. I'd give it an A-. Chris, what would you give it?
Bro, I'm gonna give it an A. Like, before Dylan gets his stuff off, bro, we're gonna let Dylan talk with no interruptions. But look though, Jaden Daniels, you cannot turn on, if you put on a video, search up every throw or every play, Jaden Daniels, every throw, every play, Drake May. If you watch both of those hour-long videos and you come back and tell me Drake May was better, you're a liar. So I think we made the right pick, and now it's only time will tell. So go ahead.
I'm gonna go ahead and give it a D. I'm joking. No. I think I would give it a B. I don't dislike the pick. I was pretty bullish on Drake May. I was a pretty big Drake May fan. And we'll get to Drake May in a second. I think if the Commanders, I mean, obviously if they got their guy, it's an A+, right? I don't think there's really a debate against that. It just depends if he is, and I'm going off of whether I think he is or not, and that's why I'm giving it a B. Obviously, there's a lot of hope with Jaden Daniels. I think there is some stuff on film that pops up a concern. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see how it goes long term. I think with the lack of attention you guys have given to your tackle situation would make Jaden Daniels a little bit more favorable. And I mean, I don't know if we're going to talk about all of your guys' draft picks, but I wasn't a big fan of them. But not even getting onto that, just Jaden Daniels in general, I think with the all offensive line that you guys do have, I think it makes sense. I just hope you guys don't get him hurt at that point with how I think bad the tackle situation is.
Yeah. So now going on to pick number 3, we have the New England Patriots selecting Drake May, quarterback out of UNC, just because they needed quarterback, whatnot. I do think that Drake's going to sit a year, or I think he's going to sit if he won't be a day one starter.
Who's going to start?
I mean, maybe Brissett.
I give it a B+. Just because he's going into a quarterback room where he has to compete.
Chris?
I mean, if he is sitting, but I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, bro, Drake May, I tried to force myself to like his film multiple times. He's just pretty raw in my opinion. I would give it a B. They have to take a quarterback this year. The quarterback next year, I think Drake May probably will be quarterback 1 next year. So,
I mean, he was quarterback 1 this year, but it's cool.
No. He would probably be my quarterback 1 if he was in the draft next year. So, I think they had to take one this year. They did the right thing. So I'll at least give them a B. But I don't like Drake May. I'm not gonna lie.
Damn, I have a lower grade than both of you guys. I'm gonna give this a C. I love Drake May. I think Drake May is great. I hate them taking a quarterback. Their team is so bad. That team is so bad. And I'm sorry. I love Drake May. But maybe you get the second coming of Justin Herbert and he plays really good year 1. But even Justin Herbert had weapons. And, like, I love Javon Baker, who they drafted. They drafted Jalen Polk out of Washington, who I kind of liked. But, like, God, that team's so bad. And, like, I was pretty adamant that I thought Marvin Harrison should have been the pick at 3 just because I think you're taking best player available. Because I don't think it makes – I think what would have made way more sense is draft Marvin Harrison at 3 or trade back, build as much as you can on this roster this year, and then next year just say we're going to go take a quarterback, whoever our number 1 is. And maybe next year's quarterback class is weak, but we never know what's going to happen with the quarterback market and what the veterans – like maybe Dak Prescott's a free agent next year and you're looking at that. So I think there's just – I love Drake May. But like I was very honest about this. The worst situation possible for him was New England at 3. It's just a bad team. That's the reason I'm giving it such a low grade.
Yeah. Moving on, Arizona Cardinals at number 4. They finally get their new wide receiver since DeAndre Hopkins has left. Marvin Harrison Jr.
A+.
Yeah, A+ pick. I don't really think it's one of these picks where you really need to sit down and talk about, but A+. Moving on to number 5, the Los Angeles Chargers select Joe All. I would say I wasn't really too shocked, but with all the points that they probably should go get a receiver, but knowing how Harbaugh runs the offense, I wasn't too shocked that getting an offensive lineman was in his mind. But I give this pick an A minus. Joe Alt's a very good player, very talented. Really don't see. I give it an A.
Joe Alt's probably gonna be a Hall of Fame player. It's definitely an A plus. Definitely with the fact that they got Ladd McConkey in the second round. They probably could have got a better wideout, but even though since they got a wide receiver the next round,
they did get Brendan Rice, and that's not that big of a deal. But they also got Brendan Rice, who's
we'll see if he makes the team.
They got Ladd McConkey the next round, so I'd give them an A plus. Joe Alt's gonna be a great player.
Wait a minute. Damn.
Sorry.
So I like the Chargers draft as a whole. I thought they got a lot of good players in it. I would give this pick I think I would give it a B. I think, hold on. Joe Alt's great. Joe Alt's most likely going to be at least, I don't know about a Hall of Famer. A Hall of Famer is like a big thing to say he's just going to be. I think you probably got a 10-year starter, which is a great pick. The only issue I have is we know what Ladd McConkey is, which Ladd McConkey is not going to play on the outside. So right now, even though their offensive line should be pretty good, and I think number one, we're not going to talk about Greg Roman, but like what a bad offensive coordinator hire. But if we're going off of their offense, you have Justin Herbert, who we know what he likes to do, and you're looking over and you're seeing Ladd McConkey in the slot. That's cool. But then you're seeing Quentin Johnston and Josh Palmer.
Hey, man.
Come on. Quentin Johnston, I thought he was decent last year, but like he showed nothing I thought he was decent 2 years ago when he's coming out, but he showed nothing in the season to make you be like, yeah, he's going to be our starting X receiver. So with how the board fell, I think a B to B plus is fair. But also Malik Neighbors is really, really good. So I'd give it a B to B plus. I think the player pick is great. I just think positional value wise, I'm not a big fan of it.
Right. Now, going on to number 6, I feel like this should be easier, but I feel like the situation that he got put into with quarterback-wise, Malik Neighbors went number 6 overall to the Giants. I would give it probably a B+, but it's just because of where he got drafted to. It's not really
give it an A+.
It's not really a knock on him, but I just think it's what's going to happen to him. I just don't think his year one's going to be as what people think.
It definitely was the right pick, but then again, though, if we going off of like where he wanted to be, he made it pretty clear. He gave them signs that he did not want to be there. So they probably should have took Roma Dunze over him just cause. But then again, he still was the right player to pick. He was the best player on the board.
Yeah.
Going on now to the Tennessee Titans with the number 7 overall pick. The Tennessee Titans took J.C. Latham, tackle out of Alabama. Kind of looking at this pick now after first night, I was a little confused. Not really, but they need to address that tackle position, much needed position. Give it an A-. Latham's a great prospect. Probably going to be the day one starter. Don't hate it. Don't not really have an issue. I give it an A-.
B+.
I'd give it a B+. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. With the 8th overall pick in the NFL draft, the Atlanta Falcons selected quarterback Michael Penix in with the top 10 pick in the draft. This is getting a fucking fat F. I don't care about Penix as a prospect, nothing. This is just a horrible pick at the situation. Horrible.
Chris?
All right. Well, first off, obviously, raw, like our first reaction on draft night, obviously we was wilded out about it, but then you seen Bo Nix go like 3 picks later, and then it was like, okay, well, he wasn't gonna be, they couldn't wait to the second round, they wasn't gonna be able to wait to the mid first, so you can't just say F. I don't think you can say F, because yeah, they have Kirk Cousins, they did need a quarterback to look forward to for the future, and I think that out of J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, those type of guys, Michael Penix was way better than them. So I think that they did. It's tough because they did waste a first-round pick, a high first-round pick, but they had to do it. So I'd give it a C plus maybe.
I'd give it an F, dude. I mean, they could have done this next year with Aller or something like that, or Ewers or something.
Oh, okay. I'd give it a B. Honestly, I remember when it first happened, like Chris was alluding to, I was like, this is stupid. But like the more I look into it, so I think it was it may have been PFF was talking about this, maybe it was Chris Sims. It's one of those. So they were talking about it, and they said something, and I was like, damn, that's really true. So number one, right? We know they paid Kirk Cousins a lot of money. And I think the biggest thing here is we know what Kirk Cousins is. He's probably like a borderline top 10 guy. We'll see how he comes back from the injury. But he's not the guy that's going to like lead you guys to a Super Bowl. He's just going to like, he can probably win you guys a division, right? That's probably what he can do for you. I think the cool thing is if you have conviction on a quarterback like this, there's nothing wrong with picking him. If you think Michael Penix in a year or two is going to be better than Kirk Cousins, if you are looking at your roster and are saying, damn, Michael Penix is better than Kirk Cousins, now we have 2 top 10 quarterbacks on our roster, that's not a problem. That's not a bad thing. And like we were saying the same thing a few years ago when Jordan Love was picked. That's not a problem. And I get the pick was higher, but something also to note is like, the edges in this draft were okay, but we all know how the team is right now. They're probably winning the division. They're not going to contend in the NFC. Dallas Turner is not going to make them contend in the NFC. Michael Penix in 2 years may make them contend in the NFC. So I kind of like this pick. The more it goes on, I'd give it a B. I'm cool with this pick.
Number 9, the Chicago Bears select Roma Dunze, wide receiver out of Washington. I give it like a B plus.
That's wrong. A plus.
Yeah, B.
That's crazy. That's crazy shit.
B plus.
Then the New York Jets traded up with the Minnesota Vikings. No, the Minnesota Vikings traded up with Jets to select quarterback J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan. This was probably the worst fucking kept secret in the NFL. The Vikings were very, 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 very aggressive to try to get him.
What was it, a secret?
Huh?
I don't think it was ever meant to be a secret. But
I said it was a worst kept secret. But whatever. I don't hate McCarthy, dude. I like JJ McCarthy. It's an A- for me. I think JJ McCarthy is going to be really nice in Minnesota.
They got their guy. Like you said, one of the worst kept secrets, or wasn't supposed to be a secret at all. They got their guy. Didn't have to trade up as high as a lot of people rumored them trading up. I would give it probably like JJ McCarthy is not going to start right away. I mean, some people did. I know on draft night, Zone and Dylan said that he might win the quarterback battle between him and Darnold. If he's sitting, I think this is a perfect position for him. You got Jordan Addison, Jefferson. It's a great situation to put a guy in. He got a lot of people around him, so I'll give it B. But
I'd give it a C plus. I'm just not that high on JJ. I think Penix was better than JJ. I've been pretty open about that. I think JJ's ceiling's lower. So I mean, even at best, maybe you get another Kirk Cousins out of JJ McCarthy, and then you're in the exact same situation you're already in. You're seeing guys like Kirk Cousins get paid way too much money. I think it makes sense to take the big swing. I think the last few years we've actually seen multiple times that taking the big swing on a project quarterback is more valuable than taking the kind of, I guess, putt you could say for the kind of day one starter type. We saw it with Mac Jones. We saw it with Mitch Trubisky. Like these guys, Josh Rosen. These guys that are supposed to be day one impact starters, and they just don't play good. So I'd give it a C plus. I think is what I'd give it.
With the 11th overall pick, the New York Jets selected Olu Fashanu, tackle out of Penn State. Olu, I felt like was being targeted as one of those generational tackle prospects. I feel like he fell a lot more from where he was a few months before the draft. But I say for the Jets, given an A plus, they needed a tackle that was healthy enough than Mekhi Becton. So give it an A plus. Protect your quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. Don't hate the pick. Love the pick for him. Good shit, Jets.
I'd give it a B plus. I think there's better picks or I'd give it a B. I think there's better picks on the board that made more sense. You still spent a lot of money and resources into a left tackle and a right tackle this offseason. Now you're doing another left tackle who may not even play. I think with the situation that the Jets are in, you need a day one impact starter who's going to help them in the stretch of the season. I doubt Olu Fashanu. I think the goal would be Olu Fashanu doesn't help you because if you're starting a left tackle, rookie left tackles, I mean, historically have a very big learning curve. So, yeah, I'd give it a B. I think there's better picks on the board here.
Yeah.
Hey.
Chris?
A.
With the 12th overall pick, the Denver Broncos selected Bo Nix, quarterback out of Oregon. I'm gonna let y'all go first.
It's hard because I already talked about how I think Penix was a good pick because of conviction with your quarterback. But God, like watching Bo Nix tape was so bad. Obviously there was a lot of positives, like his numbers were good, but like, and I hate to do this with some guys. Because we've seen guys leave colleges and then go to different colleges and play well. But like, go turn on some Auburn Bo Nix tape, man. Like it's bad. It's bad. And I mean, you can say the same thing, I guess, about Penix in Indiana, but I guess I'd give it a C minus. I just don't like Nix as a player. I just don't think he'll be good. And like this whole stupid Sean Payton thing, like, oh, we baited Minnesota to trade up, and then we got the 5th best quarterback in the class at 12. Like that isn't a cool flex, man. Like I'd give it a C minus.
I'd give it a D because obviously you better hope like you said, he was terrible at Auburn. He came into Oregon system, quarterback friendly, one of the more quarterback friendly systems in college football. So it's not a surprise that he got there and automatically started playing some better and was a Heisman. Yeah, he was a Heisman finalist. You have to hope he plays better than Zach Wilson, and I don't know who their other quarterbacks is there.
It was Ben DiNucci, but I think they released him today.
Yeah, like their quarterback room there is like one of the worst in the NFL. Like it's so bad. So you hope that he's by better than Zach Wilson, and that he's better than Zach Wilson by like a good amount. So
Sean Payton should have stayed retired, man.
Yeah, I don't know. He's in a bad position though. They cooked themselves with the Russell Wilson thing. Terrible.
I'd give this pick a C. I mean, I guess it's you kind of just need to go grab something that's not Zach Wilson. I don't think you want. But I don't know. This pick is just so weird. It's just not a good pick. Bad situation for Bo Nix to probably have no success in just because bringing Jerry Jeudy. But I don't know. Don't like the pick. Give it like a C just in case of something does happen. It's not an F. And if something, I don't know. With the 13th overall pick, the Las Vegas Raiders selected Brock Bowers out of Georgia. I give this pick a B. Chris?
I'm going to give it an A. I think he was the best player available. My thing with it is, I respect what the Raiders did. A lot of these teams, like the Denver Broncos, their division rival, will be looking back in a couple of years and played themselves, reaching at a quarterback like Bo Nix just because they can. I'm glad that the Raiders didn't do that to themselves. They got one of the best weapons in the draft, and next year they will probably get one of the better quarterbacks in the draft. So
I think a C minus. I'm not a fan of this pick. I think Brock Bowers could be good, but we've also seen, I mean, just to be honest with you, when was the last first-round tight end that's really produced to a good extent? I mean, I guess you could say Pitts, but he's been a disappointment. TJ Hawkinson, I mean, he was like a top 10 pick, and like he's been good, but like you still, if you go back in that draft, would have taken TJ Hawkinson where he went. And you just spent a second-round pick on a pretty good tight end last year. And like Michael Mayer showed some stuff last year to be like, okay. And I get Brock Bowers isn't a normal like inline set-in tight end, but God, like I just think there's a ton of holes in that roster. And I get you weren't going to get a quarterback here because there's no reason you should have like reached on Spencer Rattler or something stupid. And I understand their approach. I just think the position they took was probably, I mean, you could, other than fullback, I mean, are we really going to argue that tight end may be like the least valuable position on offense? Maybe you say running back, but like it's down there. So I don't like the pick. I like the player, not the pick.
Moving on now to the New Orleans Saints. They selected Talisa Fuaga, tackle out of Oregon State. I like this pick. I really liked Fuaga. I really thought Fuaga was probably going to go to the Jets. I thought he was going to go up a little more. I like the pick for the Saints here. I'd give this pick probably an A minus.
This is a common New Orleans Saints pick. Probably give it like a B.
I gotta look at their depth chart real quick. I don't remember who's their right tackle right now because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Ryan Ramchik's still there. I'd give it a C minus. I think Talisa Fuaga is a really fun player to watch. I've seen a lot of people say he should move into guard, and I mean technically you have a spot for him there. I think if Olu Fashanu would have landed here, it would have made a lot of sense because Trevor Penning's been absolutely garbage. And so maybe you could have, but you're not going to click. Like, there's no belief that Fuaga can kick over to left tackle. I don't even think Dave said that he could kick over to left tackle. So, I mean, either A, you're hoping Ramczyk doesn't get injured and he's your backup right tackle. You kick him into guard. So, like, I don't know. Like, I'm not a big, again, it's kind of the same thing with Bowers. Love the player. I just don't like the pick here.
Now, moving on now to the 15th overall pick the Indianapolis Colts selected Latu Edge out of UCLA. Obviously, this pick is a little concerning just due to his injuries and his injury past. But I do like Latu. I think he was really explosive this year. I think he did very well. I give this pick probably about a B minus around that area.
I agree.
I'd give it an A.
The Seattle Seahawks selected Byron Murphy, the second D tackle out of Texas. I don't hate this pick a lot just due to the fact that Seattle probably has not had the best interior defensive lineman guys coming in and out of the draft or coming into free agency and whatnot. And they think they finally got their interior D tackle that they've needed for the last couple of years for their run defense. I give this pick about an A minus, unless he just absolutely sucks. But I like Byron Murphy a lot, so I'll give him an A minus.
Yeah, he was probably one of the better defensive tackles in the draft. He kind of a little bit on the shorter side, but I'd give it A minus.
Give it a B minus. I think there's a lot of concerns with Brian Murphy that we're not talking about with him, so I'd give it a B minus for sure.
Yeah. With the 17th overall pick, the Minnesota Vikings selected Dallas Turner, edge rusher out of Alabama. This was in a trade between Jacksonville and Minnesota. A lot of people were calling this pick the off-branded Kmart version of C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson between J.J. McCarthy and Turner, or Dallas Turner. I mean, you lose Hunter, you're bringing Grenard. I think they should have maybe addressed the corner situation. Maybe I give this pick maybe a B minus B.
I think this is a wonderful pick. Dallas Turner, I thought he should have went higher. I thought he was probably the better edge in the draft. But I mean, like you said, they should have went at corner as well. Though. I think they should have definitely prioritized corner over edge. So for that reason, I'd go B.
I really like this pick. I was a bigger Latu fan than I was with Dallas Turner, but I thought both were kind of getting underrated. I think with what you did this year, I'd give that pick probably an A. I'm a really big fan of getting him at 17. You didn't give up too much to get up to him either. And you were leaving with, I mean, if you have conviction, and I think it came out that J.J. McCarthy was your quarterback 2. So if you're leaving with your quarterback 2 and edge 1 with 2 first-round picks, I think there's zero things to be upset about that. I'd give it an A.
Moving on now to the 18th overall pick, the Cincinnati Bengals selected Amarius Mims, offensive tackle out of Georgia. I'm a little confused, and Dylan or Chris might have to fact check me. They have Brown Jr., and they got the dude. Who's their other tackle that they have that they just recently went and picked
Trent
up?
Brown?
Trent Brown? Yeah.
And Orlando Brown.
Yeah, is he on a 1-year deal, Trent Brown? I'm assuming.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so I mean, then I guess getting Amarius Mims here wasn't that crazy of a pickup. I give it a B. Mims is solid. I wanted him to come to Washington when it was rumored that we were going to trade up. But I like Mims. I did not think Cincinnati would have been the place he would have gone to, but I give it like a B minus B.
Protect. You definitely need to protect Joe Burrow. I don't hate the pick. I thought they should have went out and got another weapon because I thought T. Higgins was not going to be on the team, and I don't think T. Higgins is going to be on the team much longer.
They still lost Boyd too,
and they lost Boyd, so I thought they probably should have got another weapon. But this is not bad. I'd go B.
Yeah, I don't love this. I would give it a C minus, maybe a D plus. I think Amarius Mims is a fun player to watch, but I think something to note too is he's only started 8 games. That's concerning. And you spent a lot of money on your tackle situation. I think Trent Brown's actually a 3-year deal, now that I'm thinking about it. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he got paid. And I just think, again, it's similar to like the New Orleans situation. Maybe you kick him into guard. But like you have Alex Kappa for Cincy, so like really you're not going to kick him into guard. So like did you just draft a backup right tackle at 18? Like, come on, dude. Like, I'm sorry, especially with like Trey Hendrickson wavering. Like, Jared Verse is right there, Troy Fontanu's right there, and he can definitely play guard. I don't like the pick.
Yeah, was kind of confused by when they picked him up. But now number 19, the Los Angeles Rams selected Jared Verse, edge rusher out of Florida State. A lot of people were looking at this as a steal and also a good replacement for Aaron Donald. I don't mind it. I love Jared Verse. Think he's a great player. Like that he went here. Give this pick an A-.
I like the pick. Jared Verse is a really good player. Definitely better than Miami taking Chop Robinson. We'll get to that in a second. I'd give them a B.
I'd give him I think a B- is what I'd give him for Jared Verse.
Yeah. With the 20th overall pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Troy Fatanu, tackle out of Washington. I don't know if I butchered the name wrong, but I give this pick about a B+. They get their tackle that they need to help protect Russell Wilson and or Fields, or whoever the hell they decide to take to start week 1 at quarterback. But I give this pick a solid B+.
I agree.
I'd give it a C+. I think for some reason Pittsburgh's draft has been like absolutely like loved upon so far this offseason. Like I thought they had like a decent draft, but like I can't like I saw like a post after day 1. They're like Troy Fautanu was like the second biggest steal of round 1, and I'm like, what are we doing? Like I'm sorry. But I'd give it a C+. I think it was a fine pick, but it wasn't something that I think would like blow him out of the water by any means.
Yeah. With the 21st overall pick, the Miami Dolphins went out and selected Troy Fatan.
Come on, bro.
Chop Robinson, edge rusher out of Penn State. Pretty big reach here by Miami. I think we could all agree. Pretty big reach by Miami.
Yeah.
Give it like a C-, man. I don't really know why they went this. This didn't make sense. I feel like they could have used maybe another pick on a linebacker. Maybe they could have used it on some offensive line help or safety. I don't know, man. But they could have gone a little somewhere else with this pick. But I give it a C-, C.
Yeah, I was gonna say C-.
I'd give it a I think a D+.
Oh, come on, man. Be generous, man. Round it up to that C-, dude.
Fine, I'll give it a C- so we all match, man. But I think this seems like a panic pick. I think they didn't expect all of the edges to go above him. Chop Robinson, I thought was like a fringe first round guy. I thought like his spot was in the 30s, so it's not like a super far reach for me. But his production was really low, and I just think there's things to not like about it. So I'd give it like a C-. Yeah.
With the 22nd overall, Chris, did you?
Yeah.
You said C-. With the 22nd overall pick, the Philadelphia Eagles selected Quinion Mitchell, cornerback out of Toledo. I believe this was the first corner selected in this draft. Liked Quinion Mitchell coming out. I think he's a really good corner. Give this pick about an A-, B+, just due to the fact that their secondary was god awful last year, and literally anything and anybody that could come make any sort of production can help them. I give this pick a B+, maybe an A-.
I think a B for me. I think Quinion Mitchell I think he was kind of lifted up through the draft process. Early in the draft process, right before the Combine and the Senior Bowl, we were saying Quinion Mitchell is like a fringe second round guy. And I think every time I hear the NFL draft media try to tell me how good Quinion Mitchell is, I just rewatch Senior Bowl clips of him getting absolutely torched by Roman Wilson and other wide receivers that didn't have good days against anybody else. So there's I think there's a bit of a concern with Quinion Mitchell there. But I think I'd give it I think a B is fair. I like their second round pick a lot more.
Yeah. Moving on now, the Jacksonville Jaguars selected Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver out of LSU. This pick has been traded about 45 different times.
Yeah.
I like the pick here for Jacksonville. Like Brian Thomas, you need to get somebody after Calvin Ridley left. You bring in Gabe Davis, their receiver. Who's the other receiver? Christian
Gabe
Kirk.
Davis, Christian Kirk, yeah. They lost Zay Jones, too.
Yeah, they lost Zay Jones. I mean, this is a great pick here for Jacksonville. Just to give, Trevor Lawrence another pick. Another guy helping out offensively. I give this pick about a B+, A-. I feel like I've said that a lot today, but some of these teams knocked it off pretty good.
Yeah, Brian Thomas was one of my favorite receivers in the draft. I think I had him at like 3 in my opinion, so I'd give it a A for sure.
Give it an A as well.
Yep. With the Detroit Lions, this is probably one of my favorite picks in the draft. The Detroit Lions selected Terrion Arnold, cornerback out of Alabama. Love this pick for them. They needed a lock corner. I really thought it was going to be Kool-Aid McKinstry if they were going to go corner. But them taking Terrion Arnold here was perfectly fine. Them trading up with Dallas. I give this pick about an A. Give it an A. Terrion Arnold is a beast. Love Terrion Arnold. Not much to say.
Yeah, that was the best corner on the board for sure here. So I'm gonna give it an A as well.
Give it a B plus.
With the 25th overall pick, the Green Bay Packers selected Jordan Morgan, offensive lineman out of Arizona. I was really sad. I know Chris was probably sad too because the Commanders and Jordan Morgan were in some talks and that they were going to trade up with Green Bay. But Jordan Morgan, solid prospect, really wanted him in Washington for the tackle situation that we're currently in. I give this pick for them about an A-. They just lost. They cut Bakhtiari, so got to give Jordan Morgan here left tackle. No, nothing really else to say. Give about an A-.
I think an A is highest, but I would give it a B-. I think they fell into an issue that they really didn't want to. I think that Jordan Morgan, it was like the tackles was going off the board fast and they had to take one. So I understand, bro. So I'd give it like a B-, but like he was like a fringe first round guy though.
Yeah, this is. I think me and Nico are gonna have significantly different. I have a C- for this pick. I thought Jordan Morgan was a pretty big reach in the first round. I didn't think he'd go in the first round and a half, to be honest with you. I just thought he was a pretty big reach. Graham Barton was a significantly better inside offensive line prospect. He can play all 5 positions. And then you have other tackles on the board as well. I'm not a fan of this pick. I think a C- would be a bit generous, to be honest with you.
Yeah. With the 26th overall pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selected a Graham Barton, center out of Duke. I don't know too much about Graham Barton because I didn't know if he was a center or guard when coming into the draft. Going to Tampa Bay, though, helping Baker Mayfield out. Don't mind the pick. I know they just lost Jensen to retirement, or he got cut.
Yep.
Don't know one or the other, but fill the holes that you need to, and I give this pick an A-.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an A. It was the best inside offensive lineman in the draft. So.
Yep, A+ for me. You filled your biggest position in need with the best player in the draft that position.
Yeah. Another team here that I felt like should have gone corner myself. The Arizona Cardinals selected Darius Robinson, defensive end out of Missouri. I give this pick maybe a B-. I just feel like they should have gone corner than this spot right here. Kool-Aid McKinstry's right there. Nate Wiggins is right there. Don't hate Darius Robinson, though. Great prospect. Give this pick, like I said, about a B-.
Yeah, I like Darius Robinson as a player. I also like them taking a corner here, just like Nico said. But I would give this a B.
I'm a really big Darius Robinson fan. I feel like we've all said that at the introduction to this, but I actually really like the pick. I'd give it an A. I think Darius Robinson will be a pretty good edge. I think day one you have an impact guy in the run game, and then you can develop into something pass-wise. I think Arizona had probably the best draft of anybody.
Yeah. The 28 overall pick was traded from originally was the Buffalo Bills, but then they traded it to Kansas City. How smart. And where they selected Xavier Worthy, wide receiver out of Texas, getting the fastest wide receiver prospect of all time. For the Chiefs, and now what their situation is in for Rashee Rice and all this, and now they have Marquise Brown. This team is dangerous. If Rashee Rice is okay and nothing happens, which is highly doubtful after what he did the other day, got to give this pick an A-, man. Xavier Worthy is just so good. He's such a tough prospect. A-.
Yeah, they got the guy they wanted, so I'd give it an A.
Yeah.
I think it's a really hard draft pick to grade because at one hand, I hate what Buffalo did because the last 2 times Buffalo's traded with KC in the draft, KC has walked away with Trent McDuffie, who's an all-pro slot corner, and Patrick Mahomes, who's on his way to be the greatest quarterback of all time. So that's frustrating. At the other hand, I wasn't a big Xavier Worthy fan. I don't think he was the best receiver out of Texas. I think we saw a bit of the draft media kind of gaslighting us after he ran a really good 40, saying that he was better than he was. He has positives. He's not just a straight line guy like John Ross. He does do good getting out of his breaks. He is pretty shifty. But I'm not like I do think he's a second round receiver. So for that, I'd give it a B plus. I think if anybody's going to get something out of him, it will be Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. But I really hate it for Buffalo more than anything.
Yeah. With the 29th overall pick, the Dallas Cowboys selected Dylan's top 10 prospect pick, Tyler Guyton, left
11.
tackle out of Oklahoma. Guyton, I mean, this is a perfect place to probably fill Tyron Smith's, hole after he left for the Jets. Can't really hate the pick here when they just need the positional value. I just gotta give it an A minus.
They traded back.
They got a third round pick out of that trade back with the Lions, by the way.
But they lost. Who they lose?
They lost that pick in a fifth for a first.
Well, who traded with Jacksonville? Minnesota. That's right.
That was the Deshaun Watson. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
I'm gonna go C plus.
I'll give it a B plus.
With the 30th overall pick, the Baltimore Ravens select Chris's guy, Nate Wiggins, cornerback out of Clemson. I give this pick about a B. I like Wiggins. I know I believe he's a little undersized, but I think just for
tiny.
Yeah. But for Baltimore, I think he can fit into a great system. He's a great he's a good run stopping corner. I think he can be able to play good in that defense. Like I said, give it a B.
I mean, Nate Wiggins, yeah, like you said, I do like Nate Wiggins. Obviously, I'm a Clemson fan. Nate Wiggins is great speed. He's gonna be a good corner. He is just pretty small, bro. He's not gonna tackle for real, but I'm gonna give it a B.
I'd give it a C. Not a big Nate Wiggins fan.
With the 31st overall pick, and I'd say this is probably one of the shocking picks that happened towards the end of the night. The San Francisco 49ers selected Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver out of Florida. I'll say this, in a lot of these PFF mock drafts that I did, he normally fell within the second or third round. I was a little shocked that he got picked so early. I guess not early. He gets picked in the first round even. But Ricky Pearsall, man, really just kind of shows where they're at with the whole Debo and Ayuk situation. Pearsall is a beast, though. I love watching his film. Really wanted him in Washington in the later rounds. We'll give this pick a B for right now.
Yeah, like you said, I thought he would be a second round, third round receiver, but honestly, draft night I didn't like it because I thought that Adonai Mitchell was better. I still think Adonai Mitchell was better, but when it comes to the fit for the team, bro, I'm honestly not really surprised that they took Ricky Pearsall because Ricky Pearsall is a really, really, really good player, bro. And I think that if anybody's gonna get him in the right scheme, it's gonna be Kyle Shanahan. I think he's gonna be a great player in the NFL.
I'd give it a B plus. I think it was a bit of a reach. I say that, but I think I had him higher than you guys did. I usually saw him in like the mid. I usually saw him in like the early 40s, like 38 through 42 was I think usually where Pearsall went for me. So it wasn't like a big reach. But yeah, Pearsall and San Fran, man, that's going to be a fun watch. If he's your wide receiver 3, I think that's a great problem to have. So I'd give it a B plus.
He also had one of the greatest. What people are saying, one of the greatest catches of all time too.
It was a crazy fucking catch. Yeah.
And then lastly, man, and I saw this on Twitter, and it was originally the meme was that the Buffalo Bills won the Super Bowl, but then it now turned into the Carolina Panthers with the 32nd overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. The Carolina Panthers selected Xavier Legette, wide receiver out of Southern Carolina. Sorry. This was the pick that was traded from KC to Buffalo, and then Buffalo moving out of the first round, going into the second round, first pick in the second round. And Xavier Legette, I feel like this was a match that was, I think, a lot of people had. The Panthers getting him at some point, whether it was in the second or the first round. Xavier Legette, it took him really a lot of years to really have a good season. His last season in South Carolina was pretty good. I give this pick about a B plus, A minus. I do think that Xavier Legette could be very, very good for the wide receiver lack in Carolina. I think this is a great pick here for Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers moving forward.
It was pretty unnecessary. I'm sure that they didn't trade much away in the trade up, but like, bro, nobody else was finna take Xavier Legette, bro. There was no reason to trade up one pick to do that. Could have salvaged whatever they had to trade up to get up, even though it probably wasn't much. I like Xavier Legette. I did want him on Washington. I think he's gonna be a great NFL wide receiver, but like, I don't think he was the best receiver on the board. I think everybody was hyped when they traded up. But then they didn't take a Donnie Mitchell like they probably should have. But I do think Xavier Legette's still going to be good. I think they should have just waited. They could have waited where they was. It was pretty unnecessary. I'd give it a B plus. And also then they went the next round and took a running back. Like, come
on. I think I would give it a C. I think a C is fair for it. I liked Legette as like, again, kind of that Pearsall range in like the maybe mid 40s. There was a lot to not like with Legette's tape. He didn't separate at a good rate. And I think what we saw from Bryce Young last year is that he needs to have people who get opens consistently. And I think Deontay Johnson was a great pickup for that. But then you go out and trade up for a guy who can't really separate well. And I think it doesn't really work the middle of the field well. His best attribute is running down the field and getting kind of balls thrown up to him in the air. And I think whenever you're getting to that point, you're kind of saying what Bryce Young needs isn't Xavier Legette. And then obviously the second round pick was atrocious. And then again, I don't know what the fuck Buffalo is doing. I liked Keon Coleman. I know we're not talking about Keon Coleman, but I liked Keon Coleman. But like, holy shit, that's bad. Like, Brandon Beane, man, what are you? How do you have a job right now? Like, not only you passed on AD, dude, you passed on AD Mitchell 3 times. Like, I know. I'm not an NFL scout, bro, and I get that, but I watched AD Mitchell's tape. Like, how do you not watch AD Mitchell's tape and be like, damn, yeah, Keon Coleman's better than that? Like, what? I don't care about diabetes, man. Come on, dude. Like,
wait, was that the reason why?
So his main reasons were, number one, he apparently has diabetes, which he played through multiple college seasons with diabetes. I don't care. Number two, he has attitude issues, which every good wide receiver is going to get pissed off when he doesn't get the ball thrown to him. Like, the clip that was going viral was him in the playoffs. I think it was against Washington, right? He didn't get the ball thrown to him on the goal line. It was throwing his hands up in the air all pissed off. Next play I threw it to him, dude fucking mossed a guy for a touchdown. Like, I want my receiver to be like that. That's how you're a good receiver in the NFL. So, AD Mitchell, man, I hate that he went to Indianapolis. I think he's just going to fucking – people are in a few years going to be like, how in the hell did AD Mitchell not go top 32?
Anthony Richardson has himself a nice little core down there.
Cast. I like AD a lot.
Yeah, Michael Pittman, him,
Josh Downs.
Josh Downs. I mean, a bunch of
core.
Dylan, one team that you say ran away with the draft, who would it be?
I think it would be I loved Arizona's draft from a depth standpoint. I thought the Chargers had a good draft. I think it's hard not to say Chicago. I think if you left with Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, go ahead and end the draft there. Rome Odunze I was a really big fan of. Caleb Williams I was obviously a little bit lower on than consensus because a lot of people had him quarterback 1. But Caleb Williams still should be a pretty good player, I think, at the next level. And then again, I think you left with a really good receiver. So if you get to leave a draft with your quarterback 1 and wide receiver 1, yeah, A+.
Chris?
The Chargers.
Fuck, that's who I was gonna fucking pick too, but I guess it'd be different. I would be biased and say the Commanders, but that's if they took an actual
there's just no argument for it.
Yeah, it is, but
I just feel like if they were more invested into the whole tackle situation earlier than Coleman, maybe, but
he's a guard
and a tackle.
He's not a tackle, NFL.
But I don't see why you say he's not, though.
The Coleman, the guy at TCU?
Yes, bro.
Have you done any research into Coleman? Please tell me you've done research into Coleman.
Look, though. I haven't done much, but look, I will say this, though. I seen this tweet. It was like he played over 1,000 snaps at tackle, bro, and only allowed 3 or less sacks or something like that, bro.
So I think the major thing to realize with him is, number one, his 2022 tape was really good. It was good. I wouldn't say really good. It was good. His 2023 tape is what was really rough. Like, last year, he played pretty bad. And he had some injuries, and maybe he kicks back in 2022 film. But the biggest issue with Coleman was his feet. And when your feet are slow, like, you're just not going to be a tackle at the next level. He's a big dude. I think he could be a guard, but, like, he went in the round he went in for. Like, it wasn't some crazy steal. Like, I thought, like, most mocks had him, I think, a bit later than that. So I just don't think he'll be a tackle to the next level, especially with his almost every single critique he has. If you go look at his draft reports, are basically that he just can't play tackle. Like, maybe you could be a guard out of him, but I just don't think you're getting a left tackle out of him.
Yeah.
Unless he just proves everyone wrong. Worst? Do you want to do worst?
Yeah, I haven't even given my best one yet.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were saying Commanders.
I would probably have to say it's just so tough, but I probably have to go with the Cardinals or the Eagles, one or the other. And I fucking hate saying the Eagles, but probably the Cardinals or the Eagles for me.
Eagles draft getting Dick Road again is crazy.
I mean, you can't hate, dude.
I can.
It took my guy.
Yeah, but like the only issue I have with the Eagles draft, this is like the same thing every year. Every year we leave saying, damn, Eagles just had a crazy fucking draft. And it's really just because they can just take the top guy in consensus media boards, but like they haven't really hit recently. Like I get like remember a few years ago when they took who'd they get like
Nakobe Dean.
They took Nakobe Dean and people were losing their mind. They took the other Georgia guy at the end of the first. What was his name? Nolan Smith. Oh, remember the victory laps Eagles fans were taking. Holy shit, we got the best edge in the draft in the 20s. Oh my god. And he's been garbage. He hasn't been good. They got Jalen Carter. He's been good. They got that big ass defensive tackle from Georgia, the other one, Jordan Davis. He hasn't been good. Like, we're sitting here, every year we're praising the Eagles for drafting the top guy on consensus board, and then they suck. Remember when they drafted? They got the corner. They got the corner out of Georgia that year too. You know remember what I'm talking about?
Fuck. Oh. Fuck is gonna piss me off now. Hold on. Yeah, look that shit up.
Like Rich.
Dude, I gotta remember him now.
Corner out
of. Kelly Ringo. That's what I'm thinking about.
Oh yeah, everybody was
when everyone was like, they got Kelly Ringo in the 4th. They just got a starting corner, and did he even he never started? So like, I don't like. Every year, I feel like I hear the same thing. Philly had the best draft, but like going to the last draft, man, they just haven't. Like it's just been bad.
When he did start, I think he got fucked up pretty bad.
Yeah, like God, so many UGA players, but like they just going to Philly's last draft, they just haven't been that good.
Now moving on to the worst draft class.
Commanders.
Yeah, I did.
It's a joke, by the way.
Phenomenal dick. That's the phenomenal dick eating, but
it's not Commanders.
I have to go with the Falcons, man. I mean, like, I know, like, you're sitting here telling me that the Michael Penix pick could be good, but then they traded up for a D tackle.
Yeah, I didn't like their D tackle pick.
And then, the only pick, you know what though? I will say though, the only pick that they had that I really, really liked was Braylon Trice. I did like Braylon Trice a lot. But minus him, dude. Fuck, dude. No. Minus him, bro. Nah, they got enough in my book, bro. They if you get Kirk Cousins and you're paying him that money, you're gonna win now, Mo. They should have gone out and did something else with that 8th overall pick. I'm sorry. You could have gone and got a fucking replacement quarterback the year later or down the line. You never fucking know what could happen. You settled high.
You're hoping next year Kirk Cousins leads you to a good enough record where you're not going to be in the top 10 in the draft another quarterback.
In the NFC fucking South. Dude, where they're only.
What's your point? They played in the NFC South last year.
I know, but with Desmond Ridder at quarterback, dude, it's a big difference.
Yeah, and now they have. They're not going to be the top 10. They're paying Kirk Cousins the same money to not be picking in the top 10 for like the 5th year in a row. Like they're not going to be in a position to take quarterback next year. So when they're in the top 10, they're like, you know what? We'd rather because again, who at 8 was going to make an immediate difference to help them win games? Maybe you argue an edge, but then their 2nd round pick.
Who is their edge rusher?
3rd round pick, edge. 4th round pick, edge. They went defensive line the next 3 picks after that. So I don't have a problem with Penix, man, at all.
No, I just think they didn't have a good draft. Minus Braylon Trice. That's really about all they really had.
My worst draft would be Buffalo. I think that I've seen people like their mid-round picks. Again, I just think passing on 83 times. Drafting Keon Coleman, who I liked, but now your wide receiver core, I just think it's really rough. And then also giving Casey Xavier Worthy. And maybe I'm just hating a bit too much because I was a really big AD fan, but dude, yeah, I think it'd be Buffalo would have the worst draft in my opinion.
Chris?
I'm going with damn, I just had it in my head. Hold on. It was Oh yeah, the Panthers. I don't think they had any good value picks other than the tight end Sanders.
I mean, Brooks isn't like horrible.
Bro, you took
in the second round, dude.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like, as a player, like, he's not awful. And I don't know. I see
he
why
went almost the same spot Bryce Hall did. Like, not Bryce. Am I thinking?
Bryce Hall, what?
Who the fuck is the Jets starting running back?
Brees Hall.
Brees Hall, dude. I was thinking of the fucking TikToker. Thinking of the fucking TikToker, dude. But yeah, I don't like the. It's crazy because I think it's arguable like the two worst drafts of the NFL came out of the same division because I think either you argue or maybe three because like I think the Saints had a bad draft for the most part. I think the Falcons consistently had a more negative draft, even though I'm not that low on it. And then fuck the other team, Saints, Falcons, and fuck. Who am I blanking on here? But anyway, there's like three really bad drafts in that division.
Yeah. Well, I think we're good to end it off here for today. Thank you guys all for watching today. We're gonna be back next week. If any suggestions or anything, let us know. We might be doing the trivia show next week, hopefully. But other than that, we did a very good job today, and thank you guys all for coming on. Have a great night. Dylan, Chris, want to say anything else real quick?
Nope.
No.
Jaden Daniels, Offensive Rookie of the Year campaign starts today, by the way. See ya.